Journey is on their farewell tour. They're calling it the Final Frontier. It launched in early 2026, and it is, by all accounts, the last big run for one of the biggest arena rock bands in American history. And there's one thing every single fan wants, one thing that would make it perfect. They want Steve Perry to walk out and sing "Don't Stop Believin" one last time. The band wants it too. Guitarist Neal Schon reportedly reached out. Keyboardist Jonathan Cain said publicly, "Hey, we've got 100 shows. He's welcome at any one of them. It's never too late." The door was wide open. And in February 2026, Steve Perry closed it, gently but completely. He put out a statement thanking the fans, saying he understood why they'd hoped for it, and saying no, not even once, not even for the farewell. To a lot of people, that's baffling. Here's a man with one of the greatest voices in the history of rock being invited back for a victory lap to sing the songs that made him a legend in front of people who adore him. And he won't do it. Why? And the answer isn't ego, and it isn't a money dispute, and it isn't a grudge. The real reason is something much deeper, and honestly much more human. And to understand it, you have to understand something about what a singer's voice actually is. Let me start with the thing Perry himself has said, because it's the key that unlocks everything. When he's talked about why he walked away from Journey, and he first left back in the late 80s, then again for good in the late 90s, he doesn't primarily talk about the band. He talks about losing something inside himself. In his own words, the passion for music left him. He said he couldn't find the honest passion for singing anymore. And most strikingly, he described his relationship with music at that point as almost traumatic. He used the phrase PTSD. He said he couldn't go near music, that it was deeply uncomfortable, and that he was genuinely afraid the passion might never come back. Now, sit with that for a second, because it's a remarkable thing for a singer to say. And here's where being a musician changes how you hear it. A voice is not like other instruments. This is the thing non-singers don't fully grasp. If I'm a guitar player and I get burned out, I can put the guitar in the closet, walk away for a year, and the guitar is still sitting there, unchanged, when I come back. The instrument is a separate object from me. But a singer's instrument is not separate. It's inside your body. It's wired directly into your breath, your emotions, your nervous system. When a singer sings, they're not operating a machine. They're exposing something internal. The voice is connected to feeling in a way that a fretboard or a set of drums simply isn't. Which means when a singer loses the emotional connection to music, when the passion dies, it's not like a guitarist who's just bored. It can become physically and psychologically impossible to sing well, because the thing you're supposed to be channeling isn't there anymore, and you can feel its absence every time you open your mouth. For a singer at Perry's level, whose whole gift was the raw, aching emotion in his voice, singing without that feeling wouldn't just be unsatisfying. It would be a kind of lie. And audiences hear it when a voice is emotionally empty. There's a physical layer too, and it compounds the problem. When Journey wanted to reunite and tour in the late 90s, Perry had injured his hip badly on a hike. His bandmates urged him to get the surgery so they could go back on the road. He declined it, and that refusal became the final break because the band decided to move forward with a new singer rather than wait. On the surface, that looks like a story about a hip. But listen to how Perry frames it. When an interviewer asked him, "Wasn't it really your heart, not your hip?" He agreed. It was really his heart. The hip was real, but it wasn't the reason. The reason was that the fire was gone, and he wasn't willing to fake it. And this is the part I find genuinely admirable, and it's the answer to why he won't come back, even for the farewell. Steve Perry has an incredibly high standard for what his voice is supposed to deliver. He knows what Steve Perry is supposed to sound like. That soaring, effortless, emotional instrument that defined those records. And he would rather protect that memory than walk out at 77 and give people a diminished version of it. He's not withholding himself out of spite. He's withholding himself out of respect for the songs, for the fans, and for what that voice used to be. He'd rather you remember the real thing than watch him chase it. There's something else worth understanding. For Perry, music and specifically Journey are wrapped up in a period of his life that was, by his own account, painful. The burnout, the loss of his mother around that time, the grind that hollowed him out. Going back isn't just singing a song, it's stepping back into an emotional place he worked very hard to leave. A guitarist rejoining a band plays some notes. A singer rejoining a band has to re-enter the feeling. And if the feeling attached to that music is trauma, then just do one show is asking a lot more than it sounds like. So when you see the headline that Steve Perry won't rejoin Journey for the farewell tour, don't read it as a snub or a mystery. Read it as a man who understands his own instrument better than anyone. He knows his voice was never really about technique. It was about feeling, and the feeling that made it special got badly wounded a long time ago. He found his way back to making music on his own terms, quietly, in his own time. But standing on a stadium stage singing "Don't Stop Believin" to 80,000 people? That's not his terms. That's the machine that once nearly broke him. The kindest and most honest thing he can do, for himself and for the memory of that voice, is to say thank you, and gently, respectfully, no. And if you love that voice as much as those fans do, the right response isn't disappointment, it's understanding. Some instruments you can pick back up whenever you want. A voice like Steve Perry's was never one of them.